Hi friends, hope you are doing well. I am Dr. Ganguly. Welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to talk about a question that why you should apply for awards and fellowships and how this can help you. Now, if you are a person in any university or higher education system, there are people who are going to dissuade you from applying for awards and fellowships because they are going to say that the probability of getting any of these awards is very low, that it's going to have a negative effect on you if you do not get the award. You will have to handle the rejection, you will have to take the negativity of not getting the award. People are going to discuss your case in various selection committees, and maybe they're going to tell you things like your resume lacked this, your CV doesn't have this, and so on. And so many people actually shy away from applying for awards. They feel that they are only going to concentrate on doing work and their research, writing papers, and that's going to take care of all the things for them. So I'm going to tell you various things which are there, and at least 5 reasons why awards are actually very important as far as academia is concerned. So the number one reason is that as far as academia is concerned, it is all about committees. So there are committees which make every decision. There are committees which decide on which student gets the best paper award, which student gets the best thesis award, who is selected as assistant professor, who is promoted to associate professor, who is promoted to full professor, and so on. And at various stages of your life, selection committees are going to peruse your CV and going to make decisions. So I will tell you that the job of the selection committee becomes much simpler if the candidate has awards, fellowships, prizes lined up on their CV. So the problem remains that no matter how many publications you have, no matter how great the university from which you have graduated, there are always going to be people who are going to say, all this is fine, but this does not tell us whether he's actually a good candidate. The problem is that academics are very conservative, and so they do not want to make a decision easily because somebody else is going to say, why did you make this decision? So being very conservative, they always like to make a decision with the philosophy that somebody else has made a decision for them. So this is very much like when you do research, you always need to cite who has worked before you in a field. So you make the case that so many people have worked in the field, there are all these review papers out there, and you are now contributing to the field. So as far as academics are concerned, they often make selection committee decisions like this. So if you have got any prior awards, even a best paper award, certainly graduate school fellowships, certainly any named postdocs, and so on, it's going to always help your case in giving you a job or giving you an award in future. So that's something you need to keep in mind. Now, another thing I will tell you that as far as academia is concerned, the currency is actually the awards you have got. So people think that the currency is journal publications, and that's true at the elementary level. But as people collect journal papers under their name, what matters is, are these papers good or bad? So some committees, especially committees of experts, have to vet that case. So if somebody has become an IEEE fellow or a senior member, then it's much easier for a committee to decide that this guy must be good. Then their job is actually made much more simpler. So that's something you want to keep in mind. Now, the second reason I will tell you is that the awards are used to grow you, and if you do not get an award, it doesn't matter a whole lot. What matters is that in applying for the award, in trying to craft your resume for the award, in filling up the application form, you realize what are the lacunas in your CV, what are the facts about your case which can be strengthened. So very often this is an eye opener for you. You need to write your entire research, for example, in 100 words or so. You need to give the top 5 journal publications. So are these the most cited papers, or are these the papers which you consider to be best? Are these the 5 papers which are published in the best journals? So some of these things are very important to realize because they are going to let you know as to what the system wants from you. So like I mentioned before, as far as academia is concerned, papers and awards are the key. For example, if you are a person in business or you're a business major and you say, I'm not interested in money, that's going to come across as very negative. Similarly, as far as academia is concerned, if you say I have no interest in the awards and so on, that's going to come across as very negative. So that's something to keep in mind, that the award system is meant to grow you. Do not take the rejection personally. I have made a video on how to handle rejection as far as academic system is concerned. Look at it and see. You need to steel yourself if you are rejected. It doesn't matter a lot. It's not really personal. It's just a part of the process. Now, the third factor is that if you are applying for awards and you get some awards, it makes it much easier for you to get the regular promotions at your institute or university. So if you are applying, for example, from assistant to associate or associate to full professor and so on, if you have got any awards or fellowships on the path, it's much easier to get the promotion. So at this point, people are always going to look at number of papers and raise questions about quality versus quantity and so on. So what settles the debate is that somebody has, for example, given you the associate fellow status, or some person has given you a certain prize or a young investigator prize. These things are very important for selection committees, and selection committees do not want to give a negative decision when various awards are there. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, the next fact continues from the previous fact, which is the awards provide a factor of safety to your CV. So some of you who may be familiar with fields such as structural engineering and design, you know that whenever you design some structure, it comes across with a certain dimension. You actually add more material than necessary because you don't want the structure to fail. Maybe you didn't factor in some uncertainties which are there in the whole problem. They are not there in your model. So similarly, in real life also, you may think that you may get promoted with 6 papers. People have got promoted with 6 papers, but maybe you have some particular issues why you may need slightly more number of papers to get promoted. So you may go in for 9 papers. So essentially you are putting a factor of safety in your resume. So essentially, as far as awards are concerned, they are the real factor of safety, because if you have got awards from well-known international committees and fellowships such as Humboldt Foundation, such as JSPS, such as Banting, such as Fulbright, such as the Swiss Postdoc Foundation and so on, any of these are going to count as an international approval on your case, as an approval from some distinguished group of professors and researchers. So that is going to count as a factor of safety. People will not easily reject your case if they see any award there. So that's very important for you. Now, final point is that awards actually can give you a lot of cash, because remember, many of the awards are actually quite substantial. So if you have considered awards such as the Infosys Prize, the Nobel Prize, the Russ Prize and Fields Medal and so on, these awards are in tens of thousands of dollars, if not more. There are also a lot of smaller awards. It may be simple things such as travel grants or best paper awards and so on. They may give you a few $1,000s or something like that. But again, that money is always welcome because it is essentially free money, and this is something you just obtain by showing CV to people. So that's something which is very important. Now, finally, I will give you a story which is true about 2 people who were applying for a green card situation in US. And here one person put up his whole case with 10 journal publications, letters of reference from eminent experts, and CV and so on. And then he sent his case. So again, the person was saying, why did you put such a big case? It is because you don't have awards. And there was one more person who had a big prize in his name, and so he had to just put a few papers, write a small CV, and he was actually able to get the green card through that process. So again, if you are ever applying on anything like a visa for a country such as the EB1 and any exceptional researcher kind of visa, any big award you get is very important. I know, for example, people who migrated from the ex-Soviet Union to US and they had Nobel Prize, and all they had to show is that they had a Nobel Prize and they were able to get the green card. Now, this is an extreme case, but it does show you the power of the awards as far as situations are concerned. Nobody is going to question exceptionality if a person has landed a big award. So that was my take on why you should apply for awards fellowship. Note that if you want to get a big award, you need to apply for smaller awards first, because as you apply for smaller awards, you get progressively bigger awards. And at the end of the story, people are simply going to give you a big award because you have won a sequence of smaller prizes down the road. So I'll end this video here and I will see you in a video sometime soon. See you then.